If it wasn't for Sarada, I do not think that this fight would be even mildly as entertaining or as interesting, because man, Sasuke's daughter has been doing her thing. And the end of the chapter, the moves that she busted out, the deductions she's making, this shows, yeah, she's going to be, if not the 8th Hokage, definitely the 9th for sure. Because man, the greatness, if only Sakura was able to embody the greatness, the tenacity, the smarts, the bravery, everything that Sarada is once again showcasing in this fight against Boro, the original Team 7 would have been perfect. But nevertheless, let's talk about that Boruto. I want to say chapter 42. Let's do it. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. So this chapter, yet again, continuing off with the battle against Boro with the new Team 7. Now, I'd be lying if I said that this fight isn't kind of dragging on. And what I mean by kind of dragging on is, like, it's been going on for a while now. Now it's starting to show, like, little by little. I've seen the complaints from people saying, like, you know, with the last chapter and even the chapter before that, like, oh, this fight is kind of going for a decent amount of time. And I think here is where I'm breaking down as to why the fight is like that. Why people, including myself, are even feeling that way. And we're going to get into the gist of everything that went down in the chapter regarding finding Boro's weakness, Sarada's move that she busted out, all of that good stuff. But I want to say really one of the main reasons why people aren't that, at the very least when it comes to Boro, excited, is because honestly, he's not that exciting of a villain right now. Like, if you think about it, what do we know about Boro? Aside from the fact that he can regenerate, which, okay, whatever, you know, he can regenerate, cool, shows how hacks you are, whatever, but we don't know shit about him. There's no character development for the villain. I think it would have made him a little bit more interesting if, as we're fighting, we've learned a little more about him and get a little bit invested into him. But considering the fact that he's one of seemingly the main members of Kara, he's not an outer unless it'll be stated otherwise later on that he was actually an outer and I have my real circle of people, whatever. He's one of the main members of the, you could argue, New Age Akatsuki. So with him being that important to the villain organization known as Kara, he needs to be somewhat interesting. And I think just his abilities is cool or whatever, but it's nothing like, first of all, it's not anything brand new. And on top of that, his personality, he's just an angry big guy. He's an angry big old guy. So I think that's one of the main reasons why people are feeling the way they're feeling regarding this fight, regarding this chapter, which, don't get me wrong, the chapter itself, considering that Sarada is just showcasing how much of a beast she is and how, like I keep saying, like, if it's not Sarada, it's Mitsuki, the best of the Team 7, you know, the new Team 7. So you have those elements of, like, showcasing some cool deductions and development for Sarada over and over again. But in terms of the villain Boro, it's like, I mean, it's showcasing that he can really regenerate, and it also gets into his weakness. And let's talk about that, because throughout this chapter, they're trying to figure it out. And I want to say it was Kawaki that kind of brought up that he has to have, like, essentially his heart has to be like, or his regenerative property has to be like some big mechanism inside of him. And we see that he's moving it around, which, to be honest with you, right before I started recording this video, it kind of popped in my head. Kind of reminds me of Kakazu. If you think about it, it's like a amalgamation of multiple different things I've seen before, which is cool. It makes it, you know, new in a way. Like, you know, he reminds me of, considering that the whole Kara arc in general with the members of Kara, they remind me of like androids and stuff like that. And he kind of feels like a older version of Android 16. So you got that element. Then he got the regenerative properties, and then he has that the core that continues to regenerate. He could move it around. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the same thing with Kakazu? Unless I'm off and maybe I'm thinking of another villain, but if I remember correctly, he could move his hearts around in his body, same way that this guy is doing now, Boro. Which is like, okay, cool. So we finally found how we're supposed to take him down. We know now the reason he's able to regenerate, and that he's moving it around his body. So even though we blew off his head, the top of his body, the bottom of his body, it's not like a set place, like, oh, it's right here, you just gotta aim right here. It moves around, he's able to manipulate it, and it seems as though he has to do that using the hand seals. He has to use the hand seals first in order to make it move, if I'm not mistaken. So that's one of the reasons why they haven't been able to completely destroy him. Throughout the chapter, you see, to be honest with you, it's crazy because he is strong. He is formidable. Boro is not a weakling by any means. You see that no matter how many times Boruto does Rasengan over and over again, no matter how many times Mitsuki jumps at him, no matter how many times Kawaki tries to do some crazy shit, he just regenerates and he gets back up. He even kind of gave me, I don't know, design-wise, simply design-wise, for some reason I was thinking of Raccoon. Maybe I'm playing too much Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I don't know, I felt like I was looking at Raccoon for a moment, even though he's nowhere near as goofy or whatever. Maybe it's just the body build, and when he's stripped down after regenerating so many times, kind of, I don't know, I was like, Raccoon, is that you? Quickly, I wanted to talk about, before we carry on, the color page. I thought that was really dope, and I'm really interested to see when Boruto and Kawaki, and I doubt it'll be in this fight, but when they're going to go into their full-on transformation using the karma marks, their Otsutsuki transformation with the horns and everything, because that color page, I love when the Boruto manga does a color page, like the cover color page, look freaking awesome. I love the way it looks. Like, it's not trying to look anime-esque, it has its own thing, and it just looked really freaking cool to me. So shout outs and kudos to the artist for making that cool color page. Now, the big enchilada of this chapter, because to be honest with you, it was a simple fighting and calculative chapter. It was fighting, you know, everybody trying to take down Boro. Kawaki, Mitsuki, Boruto to no avail, while Sarada kind of figures shit out, and Kawaki gives her a little bit of keys of like, hey, this is what we can do, you need to do it. And I think this whole chapter was just, once again, Sarada's amazing. Sarada is best of Team 7, and I want to say when I did a poll a couple weeks back, Sarada barely won as being like the best of the new Team 7. I think it's leaps and bounds, especially over Boruto. Like, Boruto, stop with the Rasengan, fam. It's not happening. You're not going to stop him. I mean, again, the chapter itself, like I'm going to keep on expressing, Boro's lack of character is what makes it not the most exciting, because again, his abilities is cool. He is showing that he's credible. He's bopping them one after another. His ability to move his core piece around his body, dope. It's just that there's not much to him. Like, you know, if we're going into a battle of Kashin Koji, I would say every chapter I'm going to be at the edge of my seat because of all the mystery surrounding him. His personality is interesting. Same thing when we went back to the Jigen fight. Like, oh shit, you know, there's so much about him. This guy is just kind of plain. So that's why, despite all the cool moments we may have and the fact that he's bodying dudes, it's still just like, Boro, can you crack a smile? Can you act like a weirdo? Can you act really nerdy? Can you do something other than just look like this hulking raccoon body-esque Android 16? Like, yeah. But the big enchilada of the chapter was the ending with Sarada using Chidori. I was like, yo! Now, I'm gonna be real with you. I really thought for a long time that it was going to be the opposite. I thought maybe it would be awesome if Sarada was the one that did Rasengan and Boruto did Chidori. Like when they hyped it up, remember when the commercials and everything, everybody was like, yo, for the Boruto Naruto, the movie film, everybody was like, yo, Boruto's using, which obviously it was hacks that he was using, you know, the science tools or whatever. But I think that that would have been cooler considering her idol, Boruto's idol, is Sasuke, so I thought that that would have been interesting, but nevertheless, it's still friggin' awesome to show just, she's a beast, and it seems at the end of the chapter, she might have actually hit the core, because she figured out where it would be at, so I was like, Sarada, baby, for the win. Really, really cool stuff. I'm just wondering, is this going to be the end of it? Is there going to be more to it? To be honest with you, this fight has been but it's just like nothing extravagant, and again, maybe my expectations are just so high because this is one of the main people from the Kara group, essentially the Akatsuki of the Boruto world at this point. And Boro himself is like, I'm hoping for, like, if this isn't the end of him, I'm hoping for some big change, revelation, something there to kind of make up for the fact that Boro's Boro. But I can't stress again, Sarada with this chapter and all of the chapters of this fight, to be honest with you, just time and time again taking the leadership role, calculating, taking a little bit of advice that she got from Kawaki in this chapter, using her Sharingan, using Chidori when she was like, I was like, she just makes for a great hero, a great protagonist. And honestly, I've said this so many times, but if Boruto was originally like called Sarada Naruto Next Generations, I would have not been mad at all. Sarada is just way cooler, way more interesting and exciting of a character, while Boruto's repeating the same thing over and over, like on some insanity shit, expecting a different result. Sarada's actually going, putting in work, getting the results, figuring shit out, with again a little bit of help from Kawaki, but we just gotta wait and see, because I'm still not 100% sold that that's the end of Boro. Like her using the Chidori and blowing his bottom half, where the thing is, maybe he'll have multiple cores, or maybe he was able to get it out in time or something. I'm not completely sold that that's the end of Boro, or maybe another Kara member will show up at the last second and say you disgrace and blow him up or something. That'd be kind of cool. Curious what you guys thought about this chapter though. For starters, how do you feel about Boro right now? Am I off? Am I just completely off with saying that Boro himself is the issue of this fight, that he's just not that interesting in terms of his character and who he is and his lack of words for that matter, or you really like Boro as a character. And what do you think about this fight? The fight is a different story. The fight itself has been pretty freaking awesome, seeing the teamwork. Even in this one, again, Kawaki, despite him just becoming a part of the new Team 7, him helping out with Sarada, him protecting Naruto yet again, showing his resolve. Who do you think is the MVP of this whole fight? I mean, if you say anybody other than Sarada, what fight have you been reading, my friend? And overall thoughts and expectations for where this bad boy is gonna go. Do you think Boro is down for the count after Sarada hitting him with that massive Chidori, blowing up his bottom half where the core or his heart seemingly is? Or you think something else is gonna go down? He's gonna be able to regenerate again? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the future of this one. To be honest with you, I'm at the point where it's like, I'm cool. We can move on now. There's a lot of cool things. Kashin Koji, you know, Jigen or Ishiki Otsutsuki, even Mato, when we got a little reference of him in this chapter, like, he's interesting too, seeming to be the creative force behind a lot of this shit that's going on with Kara. So yeah, let's wrap this fight up. But that's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links of course are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go, admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace. Last time, I'ma say last time. Moving on to the future, leave the memories as a pastime. Memories always feel like the worst. Letting all the past, leave it in a hearse. Sometimes I wanna lie, but I don't. Why lie when truthfully you get caught in it? Then usually it's all off and shit. Uncalled for shit. Now I'm off the shit. Maybe lately what I've been facing got me crazy. No, I can't take it. Maybe